Welcome, I'm Spaghetti King. I just wanted to give a brief update in terms of my garden situation. For those who don't know, I like gardening in my yard, and I just do a lot of yard work in general. And in terms of this year, we're in May, halfway through May about. It's been slightly colder May than I've expected. Um, Last few years, it's been pretty hot from my recollection, but these types of times a year, right, when the spring comes in, I like to do quite a bit of yard work because it's that point where it's not so cold that you don't want to go outside at all. At the same time, things are growing, and at the same time, it's not so hot that you just want to stay in with your fans and air conditioners and water and all this and that. So it's basically the ideal time, either the beginning of spring or the end of summer going into autumn. So, in terms of what I've done, one good thing that I did was very back of my shed area, I laid a whole thing of landscape fabric out. Uh, and I had these little wooden sort of beams next to them. I don't know what they're called. They're just these sort of like wooden separating kind of things, these little sort of thin pillars, very heavy, very thick. But I just made like a pathway through the side of my shed, and that was real good because that was like a real big area for weeds growing, really problem area. And I'd love to cover the problem areas entirely with landscape fabric in the future, but that one was just, whew, that was a fantastic one. Like last year in the area behind the shed, I sprayed that whole back area because that's just a weed infestation that no man can rightfully or normally deal with. I've weed whacked it, but you weed whack it, it grows back in a month, so you need more than that. And yeah, currently I'm on a kind of a weed pulling campaign out in the yard there. These sort of violet petal weeds have been growing. I have two sort of trees in the center of my yard, and it was just surrounded by all of these weeds. So yesterday I pulled them out all around those trees, and I had a weed pulling tool in the past, but it's just broken. I tried bringing it out. First time I even used it, just snapped. So I just basically pull it out with my hands, and then I have this little spade, this little shovel, and if I can't pull it out with my hands, I just dig a hole until I get to the roots and just pull it out from there. So it was a quite laborious day yesterday, but it's good. Good results, I think. I think that those trees, I think, are pretty clear. They'll be pretty clear for probably next few years to come. I mean, a few might grow in, but I think I'm pretty good. So what's left of it, just probably weed whack it. That's the thing with weed whacking. Is like weed whacking is good. It's quick, but it's kind of like cutting hairs versus pulling them, if you will. Like if you pull hairs out, then you actually end up destroying the roots over time, and the hairs won't grow back, or you pluck them, right? Whereas if you cut them, they grow back, right? I mean, there's the rumor that they grow back stronger. I don't know if that's really true, but they grow back nonetheless. It's the same thing with plants, right? You cut the top off, the roots are still in there, they'll come back. So pulling them, more annoying, but ultimately necessary. And then other than that, I relatively early in the springing of spring sprunging, spring coming in, I planted some strawberries. I had this sort of circular metal piece that you use for blocking a dirt in, and so I had some soil, and so I had two full bags of soil. I think I put in this metal circle. I call them. I have metal ovals in the other part of my yard, the front of my yard, and that's where I grow my main things. I have three of those. I moved one of those. I had one of them next to the house, but then the problem is that all the water from the rain falls onto it, and it gets too much water, and it wasn't growing anything. So I had to move that whole oval and the soil in it to the fence at the front of my yard. But now it's a lot better. It gets way more sun. I should have put it there in the first place, but So I got those three, and I've planted onions, 2 rows of onions in that oval at the fence, and then I have some leftover peas in one of them. But I should plant more. I had carrots in there the last year or two, but there wasn't really much left. I had to pull out all the weeds from that. I pulled out all the weeds from that too. So I probably want more peas and carrots and maybe even more onions and maybe even more other things. But those are the plans for the ovals at the moment. And then I have this circle in kind of the middle part of my yard gets lots of sun, and I got strawberries planted in that. That's a completely new one. Some good roots there, and they're coming in good. And I hope that through the summer, by the end of summer, it will be a thing where like I can just go and just like every day I'll just like have some strawberries I can pick off, so on, free food basically. And so that's looking good. I've got a lot of dandelions in my yard, and that's really annoying. They've come in more than they ever have before, and I'll have to pull those out. I don't know if I'll get all of them, but I'll get the key ones that I can. I've pulled some of them out. I'm about halfway through the weeding campaign so far. Um, but yeah, I do need a weed pulling tool again because that's broke. I need another one, mainly for the front of the yard and for just like pulling out lots of weeds at once. The shovel kind of works better, but it's not as quick. And oh yeah, the trees in my yard. I did a lot of snipping on the trees, so I have again 2 trees kind of in the center front of my yard, and they're real old trees. The biggest tree was actually planted, I believe, when I was 6 years old, and it's the biggest tree in my yard now. It's bigger than my house, and so there you go, miracle of life. But the interesting thing about it is I had neglected it for a long time. I neglected my yard in general for a long time as I was growing or whatever. I wasn't doing this when I was a kid. So I really only got into this maybe in COVID times. I started it, and I've just done more ever since. But that tree had not really been watered up appropriately. So the interesting thing about it is that the original tree is actually dead, but the roots live on. So it's just the roots growing and so on. So yeah, I give that tree a lot of water now, and pulling out all those weeds around it is probably going to be very good for it. But the other thing I did is I snipped all the dead branches off of it. Obviously, the original tree around it, I haven't gotten rid of that, and there's still some things actually growing out of that, believe it or not. But yeah, I snipped all the other dead branches off of there, and I snipped all the other branches that impeded walking around. I have a rule where it's like the branches of a tree have to be taller than me. They have to be where it's like I can just walk and it doesn't impede me. If it's as tall as me, if I'm hitting my head in it, I don't let it go to that point. And then I had another tree in the back of my yard that's sort of like a fern, sort of pineish kind of tree, and I already cut around half of that, and I've cut like the bottom half of it, so now it's sort of like a mushroomy almost, where it's like the tree at the top is there, and then it's like kind of funnels down. But the problem is that a lot of like flammable wood in the bottom part of that tree, and I've cut most of that off. I might need to do a few more trimming on it, but for the most part, it's good. Because as it was a fire hazard. What I've done now is a lot better for it. I considered getting rid of it entirely, but I made the most of what I could of it. And then I have this other tree in the very sort of back that's very tall, and one half of it, like sort of the front branch of it was like kind of dead, but the trunk at the top and all of it was in good condition, and I just trimmed all around that, and now it's like really nice where you got the trunk and then you got the full thing going up. So it's looking good. And yeah, that tree has looked better than it's been in years. So still, still lots of things to do, but the yard's coming along good. So that's my random update and rant about my yard and what I've been doing on it this year. So I'll do another one of these whenever I feel like it. So, with that said, I'm Spaghetti King. I love you all, and farewell.